Are Mark and Amber over? I think Mark and Amber do not need to be dating anymore. Just by sheer fact of him being a superhero and her not being a superhero.
Yeah, it just doesn't make much sense anymore.
Someone like Eve might come in and be a better lover. I don't know if I haven't read the comics, but there's words on the street. Yeah, but Mark and Amber, they just got different things going on.
Yeah.
This is the Mark and Amber episode. I feel like
they're having a lot of problems. Not bad on either side, but more of just growing pains.
Yeah, we're addressing the issues now. I think toward the end of the season, they won't be dating anymore.
No, I don't think so either. So, question answered.
Welcome to Binge Warmers. My name is Hopper.
And I'm Steven.
Amber and Mark are pretty well over, even though we get a lot of the episode dedicated to them talking to other people.
Yeah, trying to work out
right
what they're going to do with their
They have this whole scene where, like, Mark comes back from space. The last thing we'd seen in the previous episode, Mark was in space with the Martian Sequids.
Yep, fighting them off
with some of the Guardians of the Globe. And then he comes back down to Earth, and he's had this trauma of, like, my dad's Thraxa, and he hadn't really had time to deal with that. I don't think he even saw Amber before. No, he did.
He did. He saw her for a second.
And he met her friends and all that. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing too. We got little seeds of that in the 5th episode about how Amber felt like she was being pushed under, but she couldn't say anything because Mark is just it's the whole Spider-Man thing of with power comes responsibility, and Amber is even accepting that now.
Yeah, she's finally accepting it, and she's like, I can't do anything or else I look like the asshole.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I'm not going to tell you to not save lives.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see where she's coming from.
But then the relationship does hurt for it.
I know. It's one of those things where, like, sometimes you're just not meant to date other people.
You're just not meant to be together.
I've dated girls where, like, I live far away, and it's like, well, we would be perfect together, but there's just no...
There's just a big physical something in between.
There's just a gap. I'm sure there's, driving is involved or something. Yeah. So
if you had, like, a private jet, it'd be easier.
That would be. If I was Taylor Swift and I could just hop on the jet and
go
see Travis, I would do that. Anyway.
CO2 emissions.
Yeah. So you read some of the omnibus. You read to this part at least.
Yeah.
Does the we don't have to get too much into the comics because obviously they're doing something different.
Yeah.
But is this show kind of representing their relationship a little bit better than it was in like the early 2000s?
I would say Amber has more of a character in the show than she did in the comics. Now in season 1, very well known that most people didn't like how she was characterized, which they died her down a little bit in season 2, which I think a lot of people appreciated. In the comics, Amber was like just a character you'd see every now and then. She had no personality. She was just Mark's girlfriend. That was the only thing she had going. Yeah. And she didn't even find out about Mark's
extracurriculars.
Yeah, not until they got into college. And then she was like suspecting and speculating with her friends in college kind of thing. But yeah, I wouldn't say... I like that they gave her more character in the show, but I think in season 1 they kind of overtuned her a little bit.
They sort of they overdid it. Your boyfriend was lying to you. We can understand that that's upsetting and that's a bad thing, but for some reason audiences are just like, screw you, Amber.
The issue is because they're only together maybe 4 months.
Yeah.
You're not owed that level of trust.
Yeah.
You're not. You know what I mean?
That's true. I mean, like,
because they don't know how long they're lasting, regardless of his extracurricular.
Would it have been different if he told her straight up, like, I'm a superhero, so I probably can't devote as much time to you?
I don't know. But she even admits that she knew he was a superhero. So, like, she was mad
Figured
that
it out.
Yeah, and she was mad that he was lying to her about it. You need to put yourself in the situation of people are the Guardians of Globe. The world just saw all of them die.
Yeah.
Superheroes are not safe.
At
and you
one
want,
time, too.
Yeah, you want him to bring you into that life. You're in high school. He's also just finding it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think she overreacted. I don't think anyone should expect someone who has superpowers to tell them after 4 months of dating.
You've also got the added stress of them being in college for the first time.
Yes.
Like the first, first like 6 months of their college experience. And Mark's not even been there for most of it because he's been on Thraxa.
Yeah. For at least 2 months.
Yeah, so I think they've got that added strain, and she's already busy with stuff, and her life's kind of picking up as well because she's got friends, and we see her at a party in this episode trying to text him like, "I miss you."
Yeah,
and it's it's like, what if I think what was he doing? He was with an alien, like talking about the survival of the whole entire like universe.
Yeah,
so it's like maybe. She's not being overly harsh about it, which I appreciate.
Which I do appreciate that with the writers too. I think they took some of that criticism because season 2 Amber is a lot better. She's a lot more just.
She's like a sweet girlfriend. Like she's
trying to be supportive, but she still has her. Which she's valid in having those problems and issues of.
Yeah.
I want to hang out with my boyfriend, but he's a superhero and I can't hang out with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I guess at the end of the day, it's probably best that they just break up. It's a hard Band-Aid to pull off, though.
Yeah, because they do like each other. They care for each other a lot.
And it seems like they're good together.
Yeah. I like that they had that whole, she went to talk to Eve and he went and talked to the tailor.
Yeah.
And they were like mimicking each other. They both thought they were failing each other in the relationship.
I love scenes like that where it's like they're answering each other's questions by talking like in just different scenarios.
Yes.
I love stuff like that.
No, it was a really good episode. I think the writers are getting ready to pull the plug on that relationship. But, I'm glad that they redeemed Amber by the end of it. That I am a little sad about it, because if this had happened at the end of season 1, I'd be like, yeah, get rid of her, put her on the curb. You know what I mean?
Well, it's the vibe too. Like we've both had friends that are just like in the wrong relationship.
Yeah.
And we try to talk them out of it. And it's like they're both miserable, so it's like, but they just keep going because that's comfortable for them. And they like being in a relationship like that. So it's nice to see like that represented in such a good way in media, where it's like, man, he's miserable and he wants to like be with this girl, but it just can't happen right now.
Yeah, we can all relate to it, which I like.
It's good, and it's taking like deeper elements, because like Superman and Lois Lane or something, like they have the perfect relationship and they're the perfect whatever, but it's like in real life he's always gone saving people. There would be some strain.
That's something they never discuss, and it's cool.
I'm glad that we
Kirkman
get that
is exploring that option and stuff, because we saw it with Omni-Man and Debbie. I almost said Peggy. I was like, Peggy? That's not right.
Oh, Peggy?
Because, the guy comes over and tells Debbie.
Can we talk about if Hank Hill was Omni-Man and Peggy was, well, Peg, I got to kill the Guardians.
It's like, what happened? They were not using propane accessories.
Talk about Mark comes in there. Hey, Dad. That boy, he goes to his different,
boy ain't right.
He goes to the Viltrumites. That boy ain't right.
The Viltrumites are just a bunch of propane dealers of the galaxy.
No, the Viltrumites are just like his friends in the alley. They're like, yep.
Oh, man. That'd be a crossover. No, because there's at the very end of, just to keep with that thread, at the end of the Eve special, they said, "Now, where was Mark during all this?" And he comes back and he goes, Dad. And he's like, I'm duct tape man. And he's all covered. Imagine Bobby go, Dad, look, I'm duct tape man.
Hank would just be so upset. He's like, oh.
That boy ain't right.
Well, could you do that outside at least? And there's actually a little reference to Invincible in King of the Hill, because it was coming out around the same time with the comic. We see Bobby Hill reading Invincible. It's just like the same like color palette and everything. It's essentially Invincible.
That's awesome.
It's funny.
But we see that with Debbie when she's talking with the guy who did all the suits. I can't remember his name for the life of me.
I'll look it up.
But he was like, you did all this stuff while he was gone, And no, you don't ever see superheroes take that angle of the stay-at-home parent,
I know, yeah.
And it's a really good angle to take, Art, yeah, it is art.
So you get Debbie talking to Art.
Yeah.
About
that angle, and it's just it's an interesting take. I think it's cool that Kirkman was exploring these angles. And I
love the idea that there's like a super-powered or a nanny that has experience with super-powered children.
Yeah.
I love that because it's she says like, oh, it's job security. There's probably not a lot of people nannies or housekeepers that are used to working with like small children.
So she's like, I work for you, not Cecil.
Yeah.
But let's talk about where we left off with.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Rexplode
and the Sequids. I mean, the Sequid stuff is it plays exactly kind of how I would expect it to go. Like Oh, but Shapesmith, he kind of like does a little barrier.
Yeah, and they're like biting him and stuff. He's like, ow, ow, hurry up, please.
I still don't like him.
No.
I'm still ready to get him. Like,
I really like him a lot.
But they finish up with the Sequids. Eve and Robot get taken over by the Kings, and they kind of quickly take care of that.
Yeah.
And then they save the astronaut guy. They get out of there.
Yeah.
And then the Martians are like, we need to kill Shapesmith because he's a traitor and he you know. So I guess now they're at war with the Martians.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know how that's going to turn out. I do like too. We started seeing a resolution to Immortal not trusting Invincible.
Yeah.
Because Invincible's like, cut this out. I'm stronger. I'm faster. Yeah. I need to do this. And he's like, whatever. So he does it, and then at the end he goes, thank you. I trust you now. This was.
He's kind of like, don't mess it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's pretty good.
Talking about the EMP thing.
When you had to fly it to the dude.
Turns off the Sequid.
Yeah. Just for a little bit.
Just for enough time to get them off him. Which, speaking of that, in the end of the episode, that astronaut guy comes back home and he's cleaning up from Shapesmith ruining his apartment, and he throws up another Sequid.
You would think they when they got debriefed, he would get scanned. They would all get scanned.
You would think that they would just like purge his system. He would be like watched for a little while or something.
Why is he allowed to go home? He needs to be studied for a little bit.
Something, yeah.
That's just mad. Like, Cecil, come on. What are you doing?
Yeah. Maybe they're trying to use it as like a weapon because they've done that before.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Anything that he sees that could hurt Viltrumites, he's like, throw that in R&D. Let's see that.
Granted, they didn't really hurt Mark, so.
Yeah, no, not at all.
But they are powerful. I mean,
they are
a big weaponized thing.
Maybe he's like, maybe we could build him, enslave him for us.
Ooh. Speaking of that too, we get Rick, Will's boyfriend, come back. He's
one of Cecil's other side projects.
Yeah, he's got some trauma.
A lot of trauma.
You would, you know.
I think we're seeing, because I was talking to you about it, the people are struggling to keep William in the storyline.
Keep him relevant.
So I think this gives him an end, because it looks like the boyfriend is going to be a mirror for Donald's struggles, and they're going to see a lot of things in between them to see what's going on.
We didn't mention Donald in the last episode, but he's got an interesting story going on.
Yeah,
too,
they essentially just took his brain and put it in a robot.
Yeah, so and I guess he was Omni-Man took most of the blast that killed Donald, but they were able to salvage essentially the rest of him. And they kept it secret. I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, he said if I didn't, you'd be going to like PTSD, and I don't have time for that.
God, that's so insufferable.
It's so cold, dude.
It's just like typical Cecil at that point. You know what I mean?
And I still like Cecil. I still respect him, because at the end of the day, he's making the tough choices to make sure that the world is safe.
He's such an a-hole, though.
He is, but someone has to be. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I liked it Invincible, and I think specifically Eve is sort of more. She has more character than that. Like she's really true to her morals.
It's a good balance. Cecil makes the tough decisions, but there's always the good superhero like Mark or Eve to keep him on the straight and narrow, so he doesn't go too far to one side.
That's true. And you even see Eve like not come back to the Guardians in this.
Yeah, she's like, you don't want me. I'm still kind of a jumbled mess. You know, I'll be there if you need me, but being part of the Guardians is not what I need to do right now.
Which, speaking of Eve, she,
putting the moves
a little bit on Mark. I mean, she goes and gives him a big hug in the last episode.
Yeah.
We hear that Invincible and Amber might be having some problems, and she's like, oh.
But for her benefit, she is also giving good advice to Amber. She's not putting her own desires in there at all. She's just like, okay, I will help you with this, which is really respectable.
And like Amber's only got so many people that she can talk to about Mark being a superhero in the first place.
And that's, I think, why Mark and Eve bond so well too, is because they are the only two that can really talk to each other about that. Yeah. But so we get Rex does get shot in the head. To pivot to that,
I mean, he locks in, brother. He really. He's got a head wound.
Yeah, he's spurting blood, and he's just like, I can't believe you effing shot me. And he's using his bone thing to just
so shocking,
punch him, dude.
Oh my gosh.
And we get, this is a deviation from the comics too. Shrinking Ray ends up surviving. It looks like she's kind of small. Not super small, but she's small when they have her in ICU or whatever.
They put her into intensive care. Yeah.
So that's cool. Kate
it's interesting.
Is dead.
Immortal's really torn up about
and
the
he can't see. It's kind of like a mirror to Omni-Man, because Omni-Man's like, when the Thraxans are getting killed, he's like, I shouldn't care. Why do I care?
Yeah.
And then you see it with Immortal. He's like, I've had countless wives/lovers over my long life. Why do I care about this one so much? You know, and it's like, it's a weird mirror to see between Immortal and Omni-Man.
Yeah.
You know, but I like it. I like seeing our superheroes vulnerable sometimes. You know.
Yeah.
And to see, because I'm telling you right now, I'm not Immortal's biggest fan. He's kind of whiny. He's kind of an ass, you know. Like,
I hate that he's always like, "Where's Omni-Man?
Yeah.
Omni-Man coming back?
You need to train harder." We trained hard, but we still got our butts kicked.
They did, honestly.
Yeah, so it's like, how much is your training going to do, kind of thing, you know what I mean? But he seems to put a lot of his weight on everybody else, and I just don't like that. But it's nice to see that he still cares and he's still upset with things, so I like seeing that. Rex is going to look like he's going to make a full recovery. He's got some weird helmet thing on. They're growing him a new arm, he said, or something like that.
Yeah, they're making like a robot hand or something.
Yeah, he loves
like home renovation magazines. He's like, yeah, I'm classy like that.
Yeah. He said, spring colors are in, baby.
He's like, whoa, top 10 best room remodels.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this going on? And they were like, probably because he never had a house, because I think he was also like a government experiment or something like that. We'll get more into his character.
I would love like a Rex special if they did.
Yeah.
You know, like they did an Eve special. I would love a Rex special next.
I would like one of, like we said, of all of them. Monster Girl. Ooh, Monster Girl would be cool.
I think Robot and Monster Girl have a lot coming up. I think they have a lot to do later on.
Mm-hmm. Which is another thing. She's not as receptive right now to his help, but in the comics, I think by this time she is. Like, I think he makes her like a suit and stuff to use instead of being Monster Girl.
That's interesting.
I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and she was like, "Why is she so upset with him trying to help?" And I was like, "Because from her point of view, she has she's come to peace with this as her like burden, right? She doesn't want to get her hopes up again, because accepting his help is admitting that there may be something she can do, and then if it doesn't work, she's just disappointed all over again. So I think she's just wanting to close it off and be like, this is my life, quit trying to fix it, I've already tried, kind of thing. So it is interesting to see their dynamic.
I do like all the characters.
Yeah, they're all good. I think
we're
Black
talking about
Samson and Bulletproof are a little...
We're talking about Bulletproof specifically. Like, we don't really know too much about him.
Yeah, he's just kind of there.
I think he's important later on, especially like whenever Mark has to go fight some of the Viltrumites and stuff. Also, we get Angstrom Levi at the end of this.
Oh, yes.
That's pretty cool. We see like him go into a zombie world, and part of my brain was like, "Oh, that's like The Walking Dead."
Yeah. Oh, Kirkman. Yeah.
But you know, who
No,
knows?
the Levi stuff is about to get crazy, dude.
Yeah, like I'm excited. He like put on a little suit, little tailored suit.
Yeah, the guy was like had 4 arms and stuff. I was like, oh, that's cool.
I guess he was in a different dimension.
Yeah, it looked like it. And he was like going to see an old friend. Oh, I'm so excited
Dude,
for
I
that
will
Action
just
Levi
say
stuff.
Sterling K. Brown has the best voice of all time.
Such a good voice, dude.
I want to hear him read the phone book or something.
Yes, dude. Do they even make phone books anymore?
I wanna
Is
hear
it
him
wild that your phone just was in a book and anyone could call it at any time?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I don't think I like that.
They used to have address books too.
That's what. Why was that cool?
Well, I guess people weren't as, but you know, there was a lot of more like cold cases and like
Yeah.
bad stuff going on that we didn't know about.
Yeah.
Because we have got this public opinion of like, oh yeah, things used to be so much better. Not really.
No.
Not really.
Like, who thought the phone book was a good idea?
I mean, there was really no other option to like call people. Like, if
Yeah.
you're trying to look someone up, like you can't just go to Facebook and find their profile or
Well,
whatever.
too bad. You don't know them at that point, you know? Ask around, person to person.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. It's just creepy thinking about the phone book.
The phone book, bro.
No, I don't like it.
Um,
Glad they're gone. The
Anyway.
Yellow pages. Do you guys think that Amber and Mark should break up? I think most people will probably say yes. Some people may be like, no, we love them. But honestly, everything I've seen from online from the get-go, people are like, Mark should be with Eve. They're a
Yeah.
power couple.
somebody online was like, granted, this is like a kind of a spoilery thing, but
Yeah.
they were like, I think Invincible and Eve should be together. And it's like, okay.
Someone said, oh, you sweet summer child or something like that.
Like, boy, I think Lois and Superman should be together. They're like, man, Spider-Man and Mary Jane really have a good chemistry.
Yeah. It's so true, though.
Anyway, so good things. We're gonna have more Invincible stuff on the channel.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing.
Yeah, get us to 1,000, guys. We're close. Not really, but, you know.
We're halfway there. you know.
Yeah, halfway there. Living on a prayer.
If you get us to 1,000 subscribers by September 1st, we will be eating some disgusting food, a la Ben 10's
Yes.
Grandpa Max.
If you haven't watched our Ben 10 stuff, go watch it. It's great
in the
stuff.
Corner up there.
Yep, every Monday we have a new episode reviewing the latest episode of Ben 10.
Not the latest, just
The latest is in
the latest of our binge.
of our binge. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going through the whole series. We're in season 3 right now, kicking it off. We're getting
Pretty
close.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, until then, tune in next time. We're trying to have these out on Wednesdays for you guys the day before. So we'll be about a week behind, but, you know, get you
Well, we
hyped
got-
for the next episode kind of
We
thing.
got 2 more episodes past this
Yeah, so
anyway,
it's like a light recap before you go into the next episode.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, yeah, let us know what you think about the Mark and Amber relationship, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
see ya.